Hey y'all, this is Theron West II, and this is the Be Ready anthem, y'all. I hope y'all ready. Stay ready, be ready, 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 stay ready. Every show, new face, new dream. Young man out here building a team from the track to the court to the turf and the rings. They all grown different, but they got the same theme. Putting in work when the lights not on. Late night, early morning, still going strong. They don't do it for the lights, they do it for the fight. Future looking bright, cause they training for their life. So be ready, stay ready, 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 be ready, stay ready. Spotlight on them, time to show love. Rather smart than dream, all star from above. The hustle in their heart, purpose in their feet, and they voice on this mic that echoes in the streets. Every episode, no cap, no fake. Just young bugs grinding, rising to the stage. Different faces, same goals. Rise above the pressure, yeah, holding goals. So be ready, stay ready, 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 be ready, stay ready. So put your hands together for my boys, Coach Tony and Carlos, for the Be Ready podcast coming on right now. Let's get it, let's go, y'all.
And we are live. Welcome, guys, to episode 129 of the Be Ready Sports Podcast, y'all. Episode 129 in season 2, guys. Season 2, obviously, as you guys can see, when the logo changes, it's a new era on the Be Ready Sports Podcast. So obviously we got season 1. Now here we are, season 2, leveling up, as you can see, with the background and our new logo. And it's all thanks to you guys, your support. It's all thanks to you guys, your support on the Instagram, YouTube, and everything else is very much appreciated. And from me and Coach Tony, we just thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing. And for those new watching, like, share, subscribe. Here we are live on YouTube. So please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, set them to all notifications so that you get notified of when we go live. Also, should be scrolling on the ticker right now at Be Ready Sports Podcast on Instagram. That is where we post our sports news, podcast clips, anything related within the podcast will be there on the Be Ready Sports Podcast. We have been active on the Instagram. A lot of things in the sports world has been going on. Stanley Cup final, the Women's College World Series. I touched base on that. With Texas winning the College World Series, I touched base on that. NHL Stanley Cup final, how crazy that's been. And then obviously everyone knows about the NBA finals, which I've also been covering as well. And a lot. And then obviously we have the FIFA World Cup going on next week. So there is a lot of things that's going to be on that Instagram. So make sure to follow the Instagram at Be Ready Sports Podcast. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube to stay notified of when we go live here on YouTube. All right, without further ado, let's kick off this Friday night. We got a special guest on tonight, and let's introduce him on, shall we? Tonight's guest is an 11-year-old class of 2033 multi-sport athlete from the state of Florida, y'all. State of Florida. By the way, before I continue, state of Florida. Florida represent the most on this podcast. Florida has been the number 1 state on this podcast for athletes. So we have another one here. So add that to the books with Florida. Multi-sport athlete from the state of Florida. In basketball, he plays as a point guard for Skills Center Elite. In football, he plays as a quarterback for Team Elite 7-on-7. He's been playing competitive basketball since he was in second grade, and he is in his fourth year with Skill Center Elite. As a QB in football, he's become very accurate and is best off the rollout. So now please welcome to the Be Ready Sports Podcast, Wyatt, y'all.
What's up?
Yeah, there it is. All right, Wyatt. So give a little icebreaker by yourself to the audience here tonight.
All right, I'm Wyatt. I'm 11 years old, going into sixth grade. I play football and basketball. Live in Tampa, Florida. Class of 2033. And I'm excited to be on the show.
For sure, excited that you're here. Wyatt, excited that you are here tonight on the Be Ready Sports Podcast, episode 129, season 2. So thank you for being here, Wyatt. Really appreciate it. All right, before we get into the sports topics, we will play our spiel. So I forgot to update it, guys. For those that have been watching, I forgot to update the spiel. So the show is not over yet. It's just getting started, and there's a reason why I say this, Wyatt. Here's the spiel. It's not over yet, guys. Thank you guys for watching the video. We have officially reached the end. So please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell icon on YouTube so that you get notified of when we go live. Also, follow our Instagram at Be Ready Sports Podcast. That is where we post sports news, podcast clips, anything related within the podcast will be on the Instagram. So please make sure to follow the Instagram at Be Ready Sports Podcast. And also on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you get notified of when we go live. Silent Fear Down Online. This is Theron West II. His clothing line, football athlete from California. So support him, support his clothing line at silentfear.online. Donate to Zelle, not Cash App, at 954-664-8962. That is where you can donate to the show. All proceeds of the show will go towards the show to make it better and to upgrade it. So donate to Zelle at 954-664-8962. Pick a Portal. Sean from Pick a Portal was a part of this podcast, introduced his business, and spoke about his updates about his business. So basically, if you're a coach that needs a player for the weekend, you're down some players for the weekend, don't worry, the coach can just go into the pick up portal, pick up the players that he needs for the weekend, and just replace it with the players that are going to be absent for the tournament. So that's for the coaches, but for the players, you can put yourself in the portal if you want to play that weekend and get connected with a coach. The active sports right now going on are baseball, softball, and basketball. So if you're a part of those sports, pickaportal.com. Subscribe to Kason Velez, the first soccer player we've interviewed in episode 4. So subscribe to Kason Velez, soccer player at CV7 Rocket on YouTube. It's William Miller. Coach Tony interviewed him back in episode 90. So this is his website. It's williammiller.com. Combat athlete, motivational speaker, episode 90 guest. So it's williammiller.com. Subscribe to Remy Payne, the first athlete actor on this show. So this is his YouTube channel at Remy Game Football 5250. That is his YouTube channel. Subscribe to Rockwell Journey, Rockwell baseball player. This is his YouTube channel at Rockwell's Journey on YouTube. Last but not least, Hudson Santiago, BJJ fighter. This is her brand, Gaidama. You can check her out at gaidama.com. All right, back to you guys. All right, that was Carlos from the past. Thank you, Carlos from the past. All right, so that is our spiel, guys. Obviously, you heard past me say all the spiel, like, share, subscribe, and things like that. And also follow those brands that our former athletes have. So please make sure to check those out as well. All right, without further ado, Wyatt, let's start our sports topics. So let's get warmed up, shall we? Let's get warmed up into the show. So, all right, guys. So this is this day in ASN history, June 5th. So Wyatt, so basically all these events here occurred on this day, but in a different year. So, for example, that first one right there, right off the bat, the Pittsburgh Steelers signs Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, as you guys know, has signed a 1-year contract for this year, and he did announce that he is going to play his final season in the NFL. So this year will be a farewell tour for Aaron Rodgers, but on this day in 2025, Aaron Rodgers signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers from the New York Jets, or from the Jets, where he played not even a game. He played a few possessions. Obviously, had that horrible injury that sidelined him for the whole season over there in New York, and it just didn't work out over there in New York. And he signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a great franchise in sports. So that was in 2025. 2022, Quinn Snyder, who is the current head coach over there in the Atlanta Hawks. For the Atlanta Hawks, Quinn Snyder announced that he's stepping down after 8 seasons with the Utah Jazz. Over there in 2022, back when Donovan Mitchell was playing with the Utah Jazz, and the Utah Jazz had some playoff success during that time in 2022. Crazy to think they had playoff success. Nowadays, they're a lottery team. Obviously, with Ace Bailey a part of that team, they're just trying to get back up and trying to get out of the lottery, of being known as a lottery team. So that's Quinn Snyder stepped down in 2022 on this day. On this day in 2015, Kyrie Irving, he was out for the rest of the NBA Finals after suffering a fractured kneecap during the NBA Finals in 2015. So in 2015, that is the first year between that Cleveland Golden State rivalry that happened from 2015 all the way to 2018. Kyrie Irving was sidelined, and he was out for 3 to 4 months, which is basically the whole finals. So Kyrie Irving was out for the whole finals, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows what happened in 2015. Golden State ends up winning the championship in 2015. So that's in 2015. Also on this day, Thad Matta steps down as the head basketball coach of Ohio State, effective immediately. Thad Matta was stepped down as the head coach for Ohio State. Also on this day, Kyle Schwarber, star player in the MLB of the Chicago Cubs, selected Kyle Schwarber as the 4th overall pick in the MLB draft from the Indiana Hoosiers, baseball team. So Kyle Schwarber, he was known as a terrific power hitter, and he was expected to reach the majors fairly quickly. So that's Kyle Schwarber, played for Indiana, and then he was selected by the Chicago Cubs in 2014. Also on this day, Padres select Trey Turner with the 13th overall pick in the 2014 MLB draft from NC State. He was a solid overall shortstopper, and he ended up being the second NC State player drafted that night as the 13th overall pick from NC State. In 2019, Aaron Nola from the Phillies. The Phillies selected Aaron Nola on this day. He was the 7th overall selection in the 2014 draft, selected from LSU. He was a great college pitcher, and he was a very refined prospect. From LSU and was signed by the Phillies. Also on this day, Flip Saunders, he named himself as the head coach for the Minnesota Timberwolves. On that day in 2014, 2016, Novak Djokovic, and by the way, something that you guys will know about Wyatt during the show is that Wyatt, you play tennis, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
I played for about 2 years.
Yeah, Wyatt. So basically, a tennis thing here. Novak Djokovic, a key name in the tennis world. He won the 2016 French Open. Defeating Andy Murray 3-6, 6-1, 6-2, 6-4 in the tournament final. And it was known as a monumental win for Novak Djokovic, a key name in the tennis world. 2025, the Boston Bruins hire Marco Sturm as the next head coach. Has been the favorite to land the job for some time, and he became the Boston's full-time successor for Jim Montgomery, who got fired earlier that season. And then last but not least, the Magic, the Orlando Magic, they part ways with Steve Clifford on this day. All right, Wyatt. So, which of these events, kind of stood out to you? Which one was more interesting? Like which one of these events stood out to you?
Probably the Kyrie Irving getting hurt and getting out for the rest of the NBA Finals.
Okay,
in
Kyrie.
2015.
All right, Kyrie Irving definitely one huge injury there. Kyrie Irving 2015, and they're costing Cleveland a championship. Golden State ended up winning that championship. All right, Wyatt. And is that the only event that you saw?
I mean, it's hard to say about baseball. I don't know too much about that.
Okay.
But
All right.
I also one decision about like the Jazz, like after him sitting down, like all they do now is they just want the lottery pick, so they absolutely just bench players and try to just lose.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But why? The commissioner is doing something about it with anti-tanking because obviously this season there's been a lot of problems with tanking. Utah Jazz being prime culprit of that of tanking, and teams that just tank is basically, how do you say it? They're not doing good for the sport, and obviously the fans that want to come see the star player, but the star player is sitting out. Like it's just wrong. So yeah, so definitely the Utah Jazz. All right, is that the only two?
Probably like Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers.
Okay, all right.
And it's like I think it could be okay. Like it was okay.
All right, all right.
I mean, I just think they need. I didn't think they needed to trade George Pickens away. I liked him.
George Pickens, yeah, yeah, George Pickens. He's in a franchise tag with Dallas this year. Yeah, he's on a franchise tag with Dallas this year. So it's kind of drama over there in Dallas. He's now with the Cowboys, obviously, as you guys know. So, all right. So obviously signing Aaron Rodgers for that QB room, and I think Wyatt, the Steelers, I think they have 5 QBs in that QB room now. I think because you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Drew Aller, you got Mason Rudolph, you got and I think that's it over there for the Steelers. But I know they have a lot of quarterbacks in that room, probably 4, and Will Howard. So probably like a lot of QBs in that room. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is going to start this year, but all right. Are those the only events that you saw interested?
Those are the main 3 that stuck out to me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. So that is this day in ASN history. Yeah. So you guys can find this on your own, actually, on Instagram. It is ASN Throwback on Instagram. They do this every day. So check them out. You know, there might be an event on there that you didn't know happened on this day. And they do this every day. So check it out for yourselves. ASN Throwback on Instagram. They do this every day. All right, Wyatt. The main topic of them all, NBA Finals. Yeah, we're gonna keep talking about the NBA Finals until it's done. I'm definitely gonna miss when it's done. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will when it's all over, when it's all said and done. But you know, it's the hottest topic right now in sports. This is the hottest topic right now in sports, and obviously we got 2 teams fighting for that trophy. Spurs in the championship for the first time since 2014, winning it in 2014. And then the New York Knicks, the last time they were in the NBA Finals was in 1999. The last time they won a championship was in 1973. So it's been a minute. More than a minute, probably. It's been a lot of years. It's been a lot of years, Wyatt, since the Knicks has won a championship. But here they are. Here they are. They're 4 wins away. Obviously, game 1, as you can see there in game 1. What a game 1 it was over there, Wyatt. Game 1. It was amazing. It was back and forth. The Spurs actually had a 14-point lead in game 1. The Spurs, when the Spurs had that double-digit lead, I thought the Spurs, they were gonna run away with this one, classic San Antonio style. But the Knicks, with the New York Knicks, they come back. They came back. OG Anunoby had 8 straight points to start the fourth quarter, and then obviously at the end, it was Jalen Brunson who showed up at the end, made some tough, clutch shots to win the game, and the New York Knicks, they go on the road to San Antonio and they steal game 1 from the Spurs. Wyatt, what are your thoughts of game 1 of the NBA Finals?
I honestly thought the Spurs were gonna win it at home, but the next game's heading to the Madison Square Garden, right?
No,
Or is it?
It's not.
It's in Antonio. Oh, but I thought the Spurs were gonna win, but the Knicks swooped in and stole it.
Yeah, like classic Knicks style, because with the Knicks, what they did last year a lot, they would rally back. Like if you saw in the Boston series, the Boston Celtics series, they were down in games 1 and 2, and then they rallied back and they ended up beating the Celtics in those 2 games, game 1 and 2 on the road in Boston. The Knicks ended up winning that series in 6 games to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 1999. So with the Knicks, the comeback Knicks, obviously the Nova Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and guys like that, their chemistry is just on top of the world right now. They're on top of the world. And Wyatt, the Knicks, they've won 12 games in a row in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, they've been sweeping everybody.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they've been sweeping everybody. They swept the Cavs. To the point where the Cavs gave up. It's crazy. Like they gave up. Like if you watch that game 4 game, there was a play. I wish I had that here, but there was a play where Jalen Brunson was driving and the Cavs didn't even defend. Like they didn't even defend that. Like it was just disappointing to watch. And if you guys watched the previous episode, I made a joke on James Harden with a cone. You guys can check that out on the previous episodes. But yeah, I kind of have to do that to kind of go under my nerves with the Cavs. But obviously that was game 1. So Brunson, he was the leading scorer with 30 points. But Wyatt, Jalen Brunson, he had a slow start in this game. He had a slow start, even had an injury scare to the point where he went to the locker room at the first half. So what are your thoughts on that? Jalen Brunson, I think he has some sort of knee injury, scare. Like he got hit, so he ended up going to the locker room. But then he came back and obviously did that in the fourth quarter. So what are your thoughts on Jalen Brunson, Wyatt?
I think he's good, and also it's not about the way he starts, it's about the way he finished. So like, even if he started bad, he's always gonna finish good. And he's like led this whole team to the finals.
Exactly. Jalen Brunson, he's been through a lot. Obviously, the Knicks, back in I think 2022, 2023, they were trying to get KD and Kyrie to go to New York. Like they were trying to get KD and Kyrie to come to New York Knicks, but however, they missed out on KD and Kyrie to the Brooklyn Nets. KD and Kyrie went to the Brooklyn Nets. So the Knicks, they got Jalen Brunson with a pretty big contract that wasn't worth at the time a lot for Jalen Brunson because Jalen Brunson, he wasn't really a star player going into New York. Like crazy, right? Like Jalen Brunson, he was not known as a star player going into New York. He was just known. I believe he was a backup in Dallas. Yeah, so he was a backup in Dallas, and then when he went to New York, he just surged out of nowhere, and now here he is. He's 3 wins away, about to win an NBA Finals for that city, Wyatt, that's been suffering for like from 2002 all the way to 2020. Like they've been suffering for years, and you can see that with those reactions from the crowd. So before I get your reactions, Wyatt, obviously game 1, the Knicks won, and if you guys been watching social media, those Knicks fans outside of the Garden, they've been out of control. So I'm gonna play 3 clips for you guys of the Knicks fans' reaction to winning their first final since 1999. So I'm gonna play this first clip. This is outside the Garden. Here's the second clip. So as you can see there, Wyatt, from the outside, they blocked off some of 7th Avenue because they got crazy to the point where the NYPD, they had to kind of do something pretty much to control the streets because it's been crazy for what we've been seeing on social media. But I'm going to play one more clip, not outside the Garden, but this was inside the Garden for their watch party inside MSG. So here is the last clip. Why are your thoughts on that, on those 3 clips?
That is insane. I feel like if they win it, everybody should be scared of New York fans. They are some of the most wild fans of all time.
Yes, so basically those clips right there, I try to find the clean version, if you know what I mean. If you see on social media those street interviews, which I don't have the clips on here, but and obviously we're never going to play them on here because of our podcasts. We're on a public platform. I won't play those clips, but you guys can check them out on Instagram. Search up 7th Avenue Knicks, and you can see the street interviews that it gets crazy. Why? I'm gonna just say that it gets crazy, and they go over the top too. They go over the top. So I'm just leave that there. But in regards to the stats for game 1, Wyatt, so Jalen Brunson had 30 points. 30. He had he had a slow start, like I said, but then he scores, I believe, 11 points in that fourth quarter, which is just insane from Jalen Brunson. He had 30 points, went 2 for 9 from 3, not the best at 3, but he was able to drive and get his shot. 2 for 9 from 3 was a +6 on the plus-minus scale. So if you guys don't know about the plus-minus scale, it's basically a statistic where they measure your impact on the court. So if you get a plus, you're making a positive impact. If you get a minus, it's a negative impact. So Jalen Brunson was a +6. Obviously, the higher the plus, the higher positive impact you made on the court. So Jalen Brunson had 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He did have 4 turnovers, but that was mostly in the beginning of the game. And yeah, so Wyatt, 30 points from Brunson in that game. 30 points from Brunson. Karl-Anthony Towns. How about this, Wyatt? So Karl-Anthony Towns, right? So he was the primary defender on Victor Wembanyama. And if you saw in that OKC series, Wemby was just cooking Chet. He was just cooking him, made Chet look scared, made him look scared, made him looked very scared. And the Knicks,
compared to Wemby, is like a giant man versus a weak, tiny boy. Chet Holmgren did not want to play hard. He wanted to he was scared of Wemby.
Yeah, true. And crazy why you say tiny, because Chet's not really tiny because he's 7'.
No, I know,
but made him look like it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Chet is 7'1". He's 7'1", and he's the only team in the OKC Thunder that can really guard him because of height-wise. And then Wemby, he's like 7'5". So that's kind of the matchup that OKC kind of have to go with, but they deterred away from Chet and they used Hartenstein. It kind of worked for a bit, but Wemby ended up finding how to score off of that. But the Knicks saw this and they looked prepared entering game 1. Like they looked prepared going into game 1. Cat was guarding Wemby outside the perimeter. Like Wemby was getting it outside the perimeter, and Cat, he doesn't usually guard outside the perimeter, White, but if you saw that game 1, Cat was guarding up. Like he was guarding up, he was underneath him and made him work, was underneath him, making it hard for Wemby, and Wemby had some tough shots to make. But Wyatt, when Cat was guarding Wemby, he only made 2 field goals out of 12.
I did not know that, but that's
He was 2 for
gonna
2.
help if he can slow down Wemby. That's like their main source. If he can slow down them, I think they can keep it up. And
Yeah, exactly. Like he was 2 for 12, Wemby, when he was guarded by Cat. And Cat, amazing job. He had 18 points, even though he was 0 for 2 from 3, but he didn't really make an impact offensively, but defensively he made a huge impact. He was in fact a plus 14 on the impact scale. He got 12 rebounds. He had a double-double. He had a double-double, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. He even had a block in that game from Cat. OG had 17 points, 3 for 6 from 3, 50% from OG. But there's one stat why I want to read to you here. It's Josh Hart's stat. So if you check out ESPN or Yahoo with this stat, Josh Hart, he had 3 points, right? That's not where I'm going with this. 1 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3-point range. He had 6 assists, but defensively, he made a huge impact, Wyatt, because defensively, Josh Hart had 15 rebounds in game 1.
no, I did not know that.
1-5, guys. 15 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. And Wyatt, guess what he was on the plus-minus scale? A plus 22. And that is the most out of the Knicks. So basically, Wyatt, so what are your thoughts on that stat line that I just read?
I mean, I guess if you're not having a good shooting day, you might as well make it up on defense and make it up on doing other things that maybe you can do better. It's not all about the points, it's about the hustle too.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, Wyatt, that should be a lesson to youth athletes like you, Wyatt. Like it doesn't matter about the scoring. Like you can see Josh Hart, he only had 3 points, but he had 15 rebounds, and he had some crucial rebounds down the stretch. He had some crucial rebounds down the stretch to avoid the Spurs of getting second chance opportunities. He had 15 rebounds, had 6 assists, even had 4 steals. And even though he wasn't scoring, which maybe in this generation thinks about scoring, but you got to find other ways to score to make an impact, right? Why? I like what you said, defensively and on the boards, and that's what Josh Hart did. And he's known for that. He's not really known as a 20-point night scorer. He's known to do the hard stuff, the nitty-gritty stuff, like the rebounds, the defense, and things like that. So Josh Hart plus 22, and that was something that I really wanted to mention because that's definitely something that should be said. Wemby, he had 26 points in that game. Wyatt, 26 points. He was 2 for 9 from 3, which is very uncharacteristic from Wemby because Wemby, he's like a 7'5" version of Kevin Durant, pretty much. Like he can shoot off the dribble, he can shoot a 3, he can shoot the mid range, and plus he can work down low in the paint. So he got 12 rebounds. He had a double-double. He had a double-double, 2 assists, had 6 turnovers, a steal, 3 blocks, and then that's that. So why? So what are your thoughts on Wemby in game 1?
I mean, I guess Cat was playing real good defense on him if he's not making as many threes or as many field goals as he usually does. But I guess he had a crazy amount of points in the paint. Like probably had 15 of his points in the paint.
Yeah, probably, but with Wemby, obviously, we talked about with Cat, he was just locking him up, and Wemby couldn't really do much. So obviously, people are gonna say it's inexperience. Wemby hasn't played in an NBA Finals because if you guys know, in Wemby, this is his first postseason appearance, right, Wyatt?
Yeah.
First postseason appearance, and then in his first postseason appearance, he makes the finals. And we talked about this, Coach Tony. We talked about this on our watch party we had last episode. You guys can check that out, the Game 7 watch party. We did a watch party for Game 7. And that was something that I mentioned about this is Wemby's first time in the postseason, and he's going to the finals. And I forgot who was the last player to do it. I think it was Tim Duncan. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Coach Tony can put that in the chat. Or or if you guys want, you guys can confirm that by watching the last episode of the Game 7 watch party. But Wemby, he's in great company of obviously first postseason appearance, first first finals, but obviously kind of struggled. 26 points. People may see it as, oh yeah, had a solid game, but for Wemby, he fell below expectations. Why he fell below expectations? Fell below expectations. Only had 26 points, 2 for 9 from the three. Like he just wasn't doing his thing, even though he had a double double. But I'm pretty sure why if you ask Wemby how did he do, he would say he got to do better. Like he would say himself. So so that's Wemby. He was the leading scorer. Stephon Castle with 17. Champ Penning with 16. Vassell with 9. Yeah, so why if you look at these stats, especially for the role players, Dylan Harper off the bench with 16 points, 1 for 4 from 3. You can tell that the Spurs underperformed. So why? So what are your thoughts on the Spurs basically of how they performed in game one? Like the role players, they were not showing up at home.
I think they could have done better to like maybe help Wemby, and like maybe Wemby gets them the ball more. Because clearly they can. They've shown that they can shoot the ball, do it as role players. Like even Dylan Harper as a rookie, doing good, like making threes, doing whatever. And I just think, I mean, they could have played better, but the role players maybe a little underperformed. Could have done better, maybe. I don't know. I think.
Yeah, for sure. Why? And plus historically, role players they play better at home. They play better at home because obviously you're at home, in front of the home crowd. Like role players are known to play better at home, but that wasn't the case in this one. But don't worry, Wyatt. It's game two. The Spurs have a chance. They have a chance in game two. So let's talk about game two tonight. 8:30 tonight, Friday night, live from the Alamo. Spurs is a must win. It's a must win for the Spurs. They cannot afford to go down 2-0 back to the Garden and Wyatt. I'm pretty sure I showed you those 3 clips of how crazy the Garden outside the Garden gets. Imagine when games 3 and 4 are in town for the finals. It's gonna get probably crazier than that for games 3 and 4. So basically, Wyatt. So what are your thoughts on game 2? Like, what does the Spurs have to do better, and then what does the Knicks? What do they have to do to basically so basically what do the Knicks have to keep on doing, and then what are the Spurs they basically have to improve on basically?
So I think I think the role players need to help Wemby out more. So it's not Wemby still needs to do a bunch if they're gonna win, but the role players can like cut at how much he has to do. And then I think for the Knicks, I think they have to keep it going, but I think they might have to step up, like just like have a better day. I think more of like make more shots, on it, like stop them more, like just have a better day than the game one.
Yeah, for sure. The Knicks, they obviously won by 10, but they kind of had to battle through that. So I think with the Knicks, they have to be prepared for what the Spurs will do. Like the Spurs, they're going to come in hot. They're going to try and have a fast start. And if you guys been seeing the OKC series, San Antonio, they can get off to a fast start. Like I think, I think like back in game, I think it was game 6 or game 4. They went on like a 10-0 run or 16-0 run. Like they went on a huge run against OKC. OKC managed to come back, but the Spurs they can get off to a fast start at home. They've shown that in games 4 and 6 against OKC. So the Knicks have to be prepared for that. And then for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson has to keep doing his thing. Obviously, be careful with that knee. Obviously, if it starts to bother him, you kind of have to maybe sit him down for a little bit because obviously you don't want it to become worse because if he gets hurt, it gets injured, then that can prove to be costly for the Knicks. So Jalen Brunson got to do his thing offensively. Cat keep doing his thing on defense. Cat got to be doing his thing defensively, but it's like a chess match. Like obviously Wemby's gonna be prepared for Cat's physicalness, if Wemby goes off tonight, now is the Knicks' turn time to respond. How are they going to control Wemby? So it's going to be like a chess match. But if if he can keep doing his thing from game one, do the same thing game two, I think they have Wemby figured out. And then ultimately, Wemby is the star player of the Spurs. You have their whole team figured out, and the guards can just handle themselves. Landry Shamit's another one that I forgot to mention, 3 for 6 from the three. He's a key shooter, made some key shots down the stretch, so he's got to show up tonight for the Knicks. But all right, Wyatt, so what are your final thoughts of game two? So what are your final thoughts of game two, and who do you got winning tonight for game two?
I think Spurs need it, and I think they're gonna get it. I think Wemby is gonna try as much as he can to get as physical as he can with Cat, and then I think the role players will just be there to help and provide. Yeah.
Okay.
But also going back to that OKC series, the first 6 games were all baby calls, and if you notice, like going back to that, figuring out what Wemby's gonna do, Chet could not. All he could do was foul Wemby, and that's all he was doing. But in Game 7, the refs actually didn't call the baby stuff that they get, and they actually called when Chet would be grabbing Wemby. So I think that's why the Spurs were able to win Game 7.
Yeah, definitely the Spurs winning game 7 on the road. Definitely a huge win. Like the emotions, obviously you saw Wemby's emotions. That was very emotional to him. So Wyatt, so you got the Spurs winning game 2. Coach Tony agrees with you. If you look in the chat, Wyatt, on the bottom right of the screen, that is the chat, so your fans can chat on there if they would like. They can comment on there. But all right, so that's game 2. Obviously, and I guess you guys are looking for my pick, I guess. I'm going to go with the Spurs too because the Spurs need to respond. They cannot afford to go down 2-0 back to the Garden. So I'm going to go with the Spurs tonight. I'm going to go with the Spurs tonight. They're going to win game 2, make it 1-1 back to the Garden. But so now, Wyatt, who do you got winning the series? And in how many games?
I think the Knicks are going to win in 6. I think game 3, I think the Spurs will take game 3. And then I think the Knicks will win 3 in a row.
Okay, so you got Spurs winning game 2. Then you got
Spurs game 3.
Spurs game 3, and then you got the Knicks winning 3 in a row.
Yeah.
All right, and then you got Knicks in 6 overall. All right, interesting. So Knicks in 6. I'm gonna go with you, Wyatt. Knicks in 6. I'm gonna go Knicks in 6 too. I'm gonna go with the Knicks in 6. Knicks, they look good in this series. I believe they'll get it in 6 games. I think it's gonna be tied 1-1. They may split again, maybe in New York, but I definitely see the Knicks winning in 6 games. All right, Coach Tony put something here. The Guardians going to be rocking. Spurs aren't going to be ready for that. Yeah. Just imagine game 3. The game 3 is going to be rocking. Obviously, the celebs are going to be there. It's going to be an environment, Wyatt, that San Antonio is not San Antonio's crowd. Obviously, you're going to have a rowdy crowd, but also the celebrities over there in courtside, they're just unlike any other. A-list celebrities down there, it's just going to be like crazy over there at courtside over there at MSG. So, all right. So that's our predictions. Wyatt got Knicks in 6. I got Knicks in 6. And that is that. So, guys, game 2 is tonight. And then game 3, obviously, as you can see there, it's going to be played Monday night, Wednesday night. And then if it goes to a game 5, it will be played next Saturday. And then game 6, if it does come down to that. By the way, before we get into the Q&A session, if it does go down to game 6, it will collide with it will have a conflict with the FIFA World Cup. As you guys know, FIFA World Cup is going on this summer. So it will have a conflict public transportation-wise between MetLife Stadium and MSG. So it will be a busy day if it goes down to a game 6. The local government, the mayor, wants it to end in 4 games so that it doesn't have to go down that way. But if it goes down to that, it goes down to that. And then obviously, if it goes down into a game 7, it will be not next Friday, but it will be the following Friday on June 19th on a Friday night, 8:30 on ABC. All games will be on ABC, nationally televised. All right, Wyatt, let's do your Q&A, shall we? A lot of Knicks talk, a lot of Spurs talk, but now let's talk about you. So, Wyatt, what inspired you to play multiple sports?
I've always loved like competing. Like I'm very competitive, and I just feel like I always started playing t-ball, but like I just like played every sport, tried them out, and then I just stuck with the basketball and football.
All right, gotcha. So why? So I mentioned something during the ASN that you also play another sport. So what is that other sport that you play besides basketball and football?
It's kind of like a side sport. I play tennis.
Tennis. All right, tennis. Obviously, an interesting sport. Tennis. All right. So basketball, football, and tennis. All right. So which sport is your favorite to play? Basketball or football, and why?
Well, I play for AAU basketball, 7-on-7 football, and I also play flag football. Um, I probably like my favorite. Like I love playing 7-on-7. It's just like the environment around there, and it's just like it's so hype. It's like max energy. So I just like being around that.
Okay. 7-on-7 football. All right. All right. So this is kind of like a broad question, like pretty much. You can say any sport if you want. What is your favorite sport to watch and why?
Um, I gotta say basketball, but college basketball. I love March Madness. I love how everybody can just get upsetted. Love rooting for a team making picks.
March Madness. Yeah, definitely bust a lot of people brackets. Before I move on to the next question, why? Who did you have winning the with who did you have winning the bracket, the championship?
I had one of mine. I had the Gators, and then I had Duke, the other one.
All right, reasonable options. I had Houston or Arizona winning. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I think Houston, Arizona did make the final. I know Arizona made the final 4, but I don't know if Houston did. But Arizona did make the final 4. They ended up falling short. So Arizona, they fell short, but obviously we all know Michigan ended up getting the win in that March Madness tournament. So all right, so Wyatt, so what do you love
Can I ask
most?
something? Can I ask
Well,
something? So
yeah.
also talking about Houston. Actually, I've had Emmanuel Sharp at my house playing on my court.
Manuel Sharp. All right. So how was that experience like? Because Emmanuel Sharp, obviously a key player for Houston. So how was that experience like?
It was pretty cool. He's pretty chill though. Like didn't take it like too serious. Nothing.
All right, that's cool. All right. Big moment. All right. All right. Wyatt, my co-host in the chat actually has a question for you. So are you able to see the question in the chat?
My most memorable game so far. Um, Honestly, I just like the games where I don't drop 20 too often, but dropping 20 is always fun. I've been trying to I'm pretty small against the people I'm going. I've been trying to get like 10 rebounds in one game. I've been pretty close, but that was like one of my goals. I got pretty close in one game. And then one of my most memorable that sticks out. I was playing 7-on-7, and there's this team we would like never beat, and we beat them for the first time. Yeah, it's like one of the best teams. So
All right. All right, Coach Tony, that is your answer to that question. All right. All right, Wyatt. So what do you love most about playing sports?
I just love being around a team. Um, like I said earlier, I just love competing against other people and just having fun.
Okay. All right. So, what are your strengths as a basketball player?
Um, Good court awareness. You can shoot the ball pretty well. Um, Pretty good passing, and yeah, it's like I got high IQ to move the ball up and down the court.
All right. All right. Some great qualities. Some great qualities. Court awareness, passing, shooting, IQ. Definitely the qualities of a very good point guard. And if you're a point guard, you have to have those qualities: court awareness, passing, shooting, and IQ. Those are definitely four key qualities of being a very good point guard. All right, Wyatt. So, what is something that you would like to improve on, and why?
Just keep consistently shooting my shot. Um, like getting to the lane, but like finishing, like getting those and ones. Um, and like mentally because half the game is mental, and like you should have next play mentality.
Yes, most definitely. And I think every player should have that next play mentality because, obviously you make a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes, but gotta go down the floor because obviously basketball's a fast paced game. Gotta move on next play. Why? So there's another question for you in the chat by my co-host. So if you can read that.
Who would I want to dunk on if I could right now? Like an NBA player?
I don't know. So and I guess it's like a broad question. So like pretty much anybody could be college or NBA maybe.
Um,
Anybody he
Probably
said.
dunk on my dad.
Oh,
No, but I would want to dunk on if I had hops like that. If I could dunk on Wembanyama, be awesome.
Wemby. Okay, so why Wemby?
He's an alien. He's 7'5". If I could dunk on him, that means I can dunk on anybody else. So
That is true. That is very true. All right, Tony, that is answer to your question right there. Two very good questions from my co-host, Coach Tony. All right, why? So who do you idolize your game to in basketball? So who do you idolize your game to?
I idolize my game to Luka Doncic. It's like I have a slow paced game, uh, shoots the rock, and just feel like he plays how I like to play.
Luka. All right. So what is your favorite NBA or college basketball team and why?
Um, I just like for college I like the Gators, just because hometown pretty much. I also like Duke. I don't know, I just like them. Good. And then NBA team. I like OKC. My parents are from there. Our whole family's fans of that. But for like a personal team, I don't really have one. I just like following like certain players, like Luka Doncic. I like Jalen Brunson. I'm lefty. He's lefty. I just like his play style too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Some interesting stuff there. All right. So which side of the ball you like playing better, Wyatt? Offense or defense, and why?
Offense, obviously, I love scoring, but having like a block or like a steal is awesome on defense. I'm just getting to have a fast break. Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. So now let's switch gears to football. So what are your strengths as a football player?
Um, Say I can read the field. Got a pretty good arm, and like I don't really know what this is. And I can make quick decisions.
Okay. All right. All right. So since you're a quarterback, Wyatt, what is your favorite route to throw?
Um, I like throwing a fly, like go ball, a corner route, or like a fade.
Okay. All right. corner route or fade? All right. All right. So Wyatt, my co-host, has another question for you. A pretty interesting question there. So
I'd probably rather have 10 threes in one game. Like that'd be insane. 17 assists would be pretty cool too. But I think I'd rather have 10 threes in the game.
okay. All right. Good question, Tony. Good question. I just wish that you're here, but all right. But I guess being in the chat is kind of half involved. So good question so far, Coach Tony. Good question so far. All right, Wyatt. So who do you idolize your game to in football?
I like Joe Burrow because he can also read the field. Um, he's got like I don't know. I just like idolize my game to him. I like him. I like Bengals. That's my favorite team for football. I like him and Jamar Chase. And I just think he kind of does some of the same stuff as me. It's like, yeah, has some of the same attributes.
Okay. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. All right. And then the Cincinnati Bengals. All right. All right. So did I ask you what's your favorite NFL or college football team yet or no?
My favorite NFL football team is the Bengals,
Okay.
and then for college, I mean probably just Gators hometown team. But I did not like DJ Lagway.
Okay. All
But
right.
that would be my favorite college team.
Yeah, because with Florida fans, they didn't like DJ Lagway for their own reasons. So why didn't you like DJ Lagway?
I just feel like he threw too many picks, like 4 in one game, and then I feel like he just ran it. And I just feel like he threw a bunch of 1-footers that would get picked off.
Hmm.
Like he went terrible, but I would rather have a few other people.
Okay. And now, why if you get if you've been keeping track of the transfer portal of college football, he's now over at Baylor now. So he's the I don't know if he's a starting quarterback at Baylor, but he is now at Baylor instead of at Florida. So we'll see how that goes for DJ Lagway. Maybe he needs a new environment, probably to play at. So he's over at Baylor, and I guess we'll see what happens there over there at Baylor. Away from the SEC, he's going to be playing the Big 12. So we'll see what happens there with DJ Lagway. All right, Wyatt. So if you could meet any sports athlete, it could be a basketball athlete, it could be a football athlete, it could be a soccer athlete, it could be any sports athlete. Who would it be and why?
My favorite sports player is Luka Doncic, so I'd love to meet him. He's a fun guy. Seen like clips and stuff, and I just feel like it'd be cool to meet him.
Who do you say why? Because I got distracted with Coach Tony's comment right there.
Luka Doncic.
Luka. Okay. All right. Yeah, because I got distracted with Coach Tony's comment here saying that he wants us to name 5 QBs from our favorite school and let's see who wins. Five QBs, just 5 QBs. All right. For Florida State, I would say Jordan Travis, who's my favorite Noel of all time. Jordan Travis, Charlie Ward, Chris Wenke, DeAndre Francois, and James Winston.
Okay. DJ Lagaway.
What's your favorite?
Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow's probably my favorite. I haven't never watched him, but my dad's told me a lot about him.
Yeah, Tim Tebow, who won a Heisman there and a national championship. All right.
And then I've heard about Tommy Frazier.
Okay.
I don't even know if I can name anymore.
Let me help you out, Wyatt. There's I forgot his name, but he plays for the Colts. Anthony Richardson.
Oh yeah.
Played for Florida. Yeah. And then there was another one, Danny Werfel.
Who?
Danny Werfel.
Uh,
Yeah, so he played for Florida as well. So you have Anthony Richardson. You have, and also another one that I guess you can say, Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask. You could say Felipe Franks. You said Tim Tebow, and then it'll probably be either Lagway or Werfel. I'm pretty sure you would take Werfel. So, but a lot of QBs went through Florida, and then obviously I just named 5 QBs from Florida State. So great QBs from the state of Florida, wherever school that is. That could be Miami, Florida, Florida State, definitely all that. So, all right, Tony, thank you for that. Back to the Q&A, Wyatt. So besides football and basketball, what other sport would you like to try and why?
Another sport I like to try. I mean, I've tried a little bit of everything. When I was young, I started off with like playing t-ball, baseball. I quit that because I felt like it was like nobody could hit it to the outfield, so playing outfield was like boring. Tried that. I've played soccer. It's not great, but I mean, I could play it. Um, I don't know. I feel like that's the only other sport I would like to do. Like that, or maybe like try to put some work into.
Okay. All right. All right, Wyatt. Last question. What are your favorite hobbies / interests to do outside of sports?
So outside of sports, I just like to hang out with my friends. I have a lake, and I like to go in the lake, wakeboard. You know what wakeboarding is?
Wakeboarding. Yeah. I've heard of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
wakeboarding.
do that. I got trampoline and video games.
Video games. All right. So what is your favorite video games to play?
Um, I play Fortnite sometimes, Brawl Stars, and Clash Royale.
Okay.
And
All
those are
right.
the main three I play. Or like 2K or Madden.
Okay. All right. Some interesting games. All right. All right, Wyatt. That's the Q&A. That's the Q&A portion. Very informative Q&A. Shout out to co-host Coach Tony. He told me it's loud at the park right now where he's at. It's loud where he's at, so that's the reason why he's not here. But hopefully he can get on before we wrap up the show. So I guess we'll see if he can come before the show. But nonetheless, the show must go on. So Wyatt, now let's get into the show and tell portion. So let's start with the trophies and medals. So, and is there any trophies and medals that you have that you want to present to us?
I have this one. I got this at a PSD camp at the big house. It's a 1v1 competition, and I won that. And there's people from all over the country, so it's pretty cool that I won it in my age group. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then at the same camp, I won the 3-point contest. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a big day for you.
All right, so later on during the show until the second portion, we're actually gonna bring that picture on of you bringing that picture. So if you want to bring that back during the picture portion, you can as well. So all right,
MVP and US amateur tournament.
All right. This is one of my MVP trophies that I won at a U.S. amateur tournament.
Skill Center one. Our team Skill Center one down in Sarasota.
And I won it while I'm playing on the skill center, and it was in Sarasota.
okay, all right.
You were just at Jesuit.
And this is one I just won at Jesuit. It's a Jesuit camp,
Cool, Jesuit.
Okay, camp. All right.
and it's the Tiger Award, means like best teammate, either like best passing, like giving everybody the ball, or best just high five and doing all that and keeping positive.
All right. That's cool. All right.
We got a couple of these people on the track.
And then I have a couple of these that I just won playing flag football. Like I've been to some national tournaments for if you win it all. And this is just one I won the championship at the flag league. Yeah.
And that looks like the Lombardi Trophy, like for the pros.
Yeah,
Lombardi. All right.
That's all I got.
and that's all my dad brought. Yeah.
That's all. All right. All right. Some great trophies, and I love how you put that at the end. The Lombardi Trophy, the thing that looks like the Lombardi Trophy. All right. All right. So that's a good start to this show and tell. And now let's get into your picture portion, Wyatt. So basically, I'm gonna show your pictures, and basically, same thing what you did with the trophies is the same thing you're gonna do with the pictures. So, how about let's start off with the first one? Remember the picture that I told you about the plaque, the PSD plaque?
Yeah, this.
There in your hand, yep, and it is right here. So give me a little story behind this picture right here.
All right, so that was at the PSD camp. So there was kind of like they gathered everybody, and there was kind of like a walkway to where you like took pictures with your awards, and this is just one of my pictures with the 3-point contest,
Okay.
and for the 3-point competition, yeah. And that was just one of the pictures that were taken.
Okay, the 3-point contest. So how many people did you have to compete against?
Well, it's like you're in your own age group, like they divide it by 2033, 2032, or whatever.
Mhm.
And I won the 2033 one.
Mm.
And then you go on to like play every age group. And I didn't win that, but like I won my age group. And there was probably 50 kids maybe.
So, so you have to compete with 50 kids for that plaque.
Yeah.
All right, a lot of competitors for that one, but hey, well deserved. Well deserved. And there's the plaque. Obviously, you win your class over there at the PSD camp. All right, very interesting. All right, so now let's talk about the second one here. So give me a little story behind this one.
That's at the same camp, like same thing through the walkway. So there was after it was like an all-star game. Like they gathered the best players from like the groups, and they split it into 2 teams, and that was my team of the like my all-star team. And
Okay, so
we got rings, yeah.
okay. All right, so was this in your class or was this like a mix of like other people?
No, it was in my class. It was there was just 2 teams for 2033, like team versus team.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. All right. So how did that all-star game go? Like how did you do and then how did your team do pretty much?
We won, did pretty good. It was pretty long ago. I couldn't remember the exact amount of points I had, but I had a pretty good game, I remember.
Okay, that's all that matters. And at least you had a good game and then the team won. So all right. That's cool. All right, and then obviously you guys get rings. So all right.
Yep.
All right. All right, so now here's you with that same trophy that I
Yeah.
think you showed first. So give me a little story behind this one.
It's the 1v1 competition. Same thing again. It's just through that runway. It's like you're taking pictures with every award you won, and this is the 1v1 competition. Same thing, like competing against the age group. And it's you could probably see a video of some of my one-on-ones on my Instagram, Wisby_2033.
Okay.
And
For
you
sure.
can probably see some videos about winning that trophy.
Yeah, for sure, Wyatt. And then also, by the way, Wyatt, during this show, you can shout out as many people as possible. You can shout out coaches, you can shout out players. Like for example, I can backtrack here. So if you see anybody in that picture that you can shout out them. You can shout out, you can shout out your mom and dad if it comes up at one point. You can shout out.
Yeah, my good friend Braylon is in that picture. He's like to the left of me with the afro kind of ish.
So he's behind you.
What?
So he's behind you.
No, he's like to the left. Like he has kind of tinted hair, like at the front. It's like brownish.
So he's to the left of you.
He's the one with like the puffy hair. That's
Yeah.
like long.
Okay. All right. All right. So shout out to Braylon. All right.
and that was the kid I played like my first travel team with.
Ooh, okay. All right. All right. So is that the only person that you saw on this picture that you know?
Yeah, on this picture, yeah, but there's a few other kids there.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So here's this one. So do you have any additional thoughts about this one?
Didn't I do this one?
I
The 1v1?
yeah. Backtrack. So
Oh,
um,
yeah. So that one, it was somewhat hard to get. The one thing I remember about this, there was two kids talking trash before it started, and they were like, "Oh, we can be all these kids." And then I got to go against them, and I scored on both of them, and
mhm.
it was pretty awesome. And
Yeah. There's always that. There's always some kids that are confident, and they can express it verbally or they can show it on the court. So, and I'm glad you humbled them. You humbled them on the court when it actually mattered, and obviously you hold the trophy at the end of the day for your class. So, congrats to you, Wyatt, for winning the one-on-one trophy over there at the PSD camp.
yeah.
All right, so now here's the last picture. So, all right, so take me. All right, so give me a little story behind this one.
So that was at Camp Neo in Ohio. Um, and it was like my first all-star team in a national camp. That was like my first national camp I've ever gone to, and we won. Yeah, we got some awards.
All right, so all right, so why for people that don't know about the Neo Camp's a very popular camp over there in Ohio. Brings in all the top kids in the country. So why so for those people that are watching, how is the experience of that Neo Camp over there in Ohio?
Very competitive. When you go there, you got to be ready to take your shot because it's all about exposure there.
Okay, yeah,
And
for
like,
sure.
yeah, they just rank you. They rank you there.
Okay, all right, all right. All right, so you guys won trophies here. So, all right, so what were the trophies for?
Though one of they were like champion trophies. Some of them were like, yeah, just the champion of the All Star game. Those were all the trophies. Everybody got one. And then I think there were some competitions there that I don't think you have pictures of, but I think there were some competitions there, like same as the PSD. And you got some of those, yeah.
Okay. All right, so why I'm gonna put you on the spot here. So, which camp did you like the most, PSD or Neo?
Well, there was another one I went to. It was T3 TV, but
Okay.
I liked Neo a lot. I think that was really fun.
Okay, so Neo more than PSD and T3 TV. So
Yeah,
why?
but I also like PSD won a bunch of awards, but I like Neo, yeah.
Okay, so why Neo over PSD and T3 TV?
Um, at Neo, I feel like I don't know if I like played better. I like felt I don't know, I was like comfortable there. I was like feeling it there. It was like fun and it's like all around good. Good
Okay.
vibes.
Okay, so you just were you feeling yourself over there at Neo.
Yeah, and also I had some teammates that like were like worldwide famous.
Okay. All right, sir. All right, so and is there anyone in this picture that you know in this picture or no?
This kid named Big Fee.
Wisconsin.
He's from Wisconsin.
Big food 2023.
Okay, Big Fee from Wisconsin. All right.
Yeah, and then
Man.
there's Man Man. He's the one in the blue shoes next to me.
Okay, so he's to the left or to the right of you?
To the right, the taller one.
Taller one. Okay. All right. I see it. All right. So are those the only players that you knew?
Yeah, that I knew him off of Instagram.
Okay. All right. And also one thing that people may not know is that during these camps is like even though you're there for the exposure, it's also you're there to know people, like and to
Yeah,
know people from these camps, and obviously make that connection. You know, get their Instagrams, and then obviously after the camp, you start to know them. Um, when you see them in those tournaments, and you start to get to know them um, as players. So definitely definitely a key positive about those camps. Obviously, the exposure, but also you get to meet people. Um, you meet people, and then after the camp, you say, "Oh, I saw you at the Neo camp, right?" And then you say, "Yeah," and then obviously you guys hit it off like that. So that's a key positive about those camps. You make friends with those people, and then also you get the exposure on top of that. So definitely positives about those camps. So all right, Wyatt. So that is the picture portion of the show and tell. So pretty nice pictures that we saw. Obviously PSD, and then we saw that Neo cam. So all right, so two interesting pictures. Now let's get into the video portion. We got a lot of videos to go over, guys. So hang. All right, guys. So just sit down and watch these videos. All right, so now let's start with the first one. This is 45 seconds long. Here it is. All right, so it is on mute. So why, if you want to explain it during the video, you can.
This is one of my trainings with my coach Drew. Yeah, I take football lessons with him a lot every week.
Okay. All right.
And if you wanted to reach out to him, you can find him under QB Engineer.
Okay. QB Engineer on Instagram.
Yeah.
QB Engineer on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys can check that out. All right. So who's that receiver that you're throwing to?
His name is Marcus. He played on my 7-on-7 team.
Marcus. All right. Marcus is from 7-on-7 with Team Elite, correct?
Yep, played on team with me.
All right. All right. Very interesting clip there of football. Now let's get into this next clip, 59 seconds long. Here it is. All right. Also, I'm used to why give a little story behind this one.
All right, so that's one of my coaches, Coach Jaleo. That's at my house. So he comes to my house, works me out.
Okay.
And his Instagram is ISO if you wanted to work out with him.
ISO Leo. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys can check that out for yourselves. ISO Leo on Instagram, right, Wyatt?
Yep.
Okay. A lot of wing moves. So wing moves into that mid-range jump shot. Key for guards. Like if they're back, if you get by the defender and there's a help defender, obviously pull that mid-range jumper when possible. But
Yeah, working on that one dribble pull up.
very key right there. And then obviously in the paint right there, you got to attack the paint 2 feet. And then obviously when you land on 2 feet, you can do anything you want. You can shoot, pass, or things like that. All right, Wyatt, so pretty good clip there, 59 seconds. Now let's get into this next clip, 53 seconds long. Here it is. All right, Wyatt, give me a little story behind this one.
This is one of my games at when I was playing a skill center.
Okay.
One of my tournaments.
Nice.
And it was a good shooting weekend for me.
Yeah, and I could definitely see by that caption right there, 57% from deep, which is very good. From three. Anything over, I believe, 40 or 50 is good. Anything below 40 is obviously average or not so good. But being over 50, that's very good.
Yeah.
Right, stepping into that three there. Boom. Nice cut. They're off the glass too, right?
Yeah.
Wyatt, my co-host, on the comment section saying Wyatt is very skilled.
Yeah, got a good handle and can shoot. That's probably the main two keys that are gonna help.
Okay. All right. All right. So that's a very good clip right there, 53 seconds. Now let's get into this next one, a minute 29 seconds long. Here it is, guys. Oh yeah, I forgot why that. So if you want,
Yeah, so this is the one-on-one at the big house at PSD camp.
okay, all right. And I like your patience here, and I like your patience. You know, you're reading the defender, and just
That's why I went. That's why my idol is Luka Doncic, because he like plays like kind of slow like me, like at my own pace.
nice move there. That spin move, committed, get around. Good job. Oh, got him there. Oof. Well, number five's all over the place. Goodness. Yep, hand down, man down. Yep. Those one-on-ones, you got to put your hand up. Oh, nice half spin there. So that half spin right there at the end, why did you get that from Luka Doncic?
I use that a lot though. A fake spin or like my go-to move, just a hezzy and go.
Okay, for sure. All right. All right, Wyatt. So my co-host has a question for you in the chat. So you can read it if you like.
My most recent game, I feel like it was like 4 I made in the game. Like 4 or 5 probably, yeah.
Okay. 4 or 5. All right. All right. Very good. 4 for 5, 4 or 5. All right. All right. Minute 29 clip of that one-on-one. And that obviously got you to win this.
Yep.
Obviously got you to win that. That 1v1 over there at PSD. All right. Very good clip there, minute 29. So now here's his next clip, 43 seconds long. Here it is. All right, mute again, Wyatt. So if you want to comment to this one, you can do that.
This was like a few tournaments ago. It was like a few weeks ago. This was also U.S. Amateur at it was at Disney, and it was a pretty big tournament that my team Skillsner did pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Why in any tournament at Disney is just huge. So for those that haven't played at Disney, like me, unfortunately, I haven't played in Disney throughout all these years. Coach Tony knows. So why? So how's it like playing at the wide world of sports? How was that?
It's pretty cool. It is huge, like how many acres it has. It's pretty cool. The facility is pretty big. Yeah. There's like 4 gyms there, and it's just a crazy amount of space. How much space that Disney owns. Yeah, it's pretty cool playing there.
Yeah, I can see like I've been there as a spectator, but unfortunately not as a player. Unfortunately, throughout a AAU career, have not played at ESPN. So I'm glad you were able to get that experience while playing over there at the ESPN Wide World of Sports, which is a special venue. You get to play in Disney property. And I bet some teams, you know, after they get that win, that undefeated streak, who knows? They might be going to Disney World after that. Who knows? So why? So did you go to Disney after those games or no? Or just business? Or it's pretty much like a business trip?
What? I stayed at a hotel. It was like the Marriott right next to it.
Okay.
and just stayed with like my team.
Okay, so you didn't go to Disney like right after the games or something, no?
I went to a water park. There's like a water park there, kind of.
Oh, really? So you went to one of the Disney water parks, right?
No, it's like in the hotel.
Oh, hotel. Okay.
It's the Marriott World Center, and it's like inside the hotel. Like their pool area is like pretty much a water park.
Okay. All right. Interesting. And obviously, you get to play at ESPN, and plus, some teams have the special opportunity of going to Disney after the games because obviously it's driving distance. You're in Disney property, so obviously one of the special things of playing at ESPN, you're next to Disney World. It's just special. Like I can only imagine players that play there have that special feeling of playing at ESPN is just another level compared to all these other gyms. That's just on another level, ESPN. So here's his next clip, minute 11 long. Here it is. All right, Wyatt. So I'll give a little story behind this one.
So this was last year at the same Jesuit camp. And this is a game where I pretty much dropped. I had pretty much every point except 1 point from my friend Ryan, who also plays on Skill Center with me.
Okay,
And,
so you were playing the concrete in this game?
yes, they have outdoor courts too, and we're playing them. And this is also like I had to play up. So I was in like going into 5th grade. This was people in 6th grade.
Gotcha. All right, but playing in the concrete though, that can be very dangerous. If you fall in the concrete. That can be very bad. That can be very bad. But I'm seeing some good plays right now. Seeing some very good plays right now, especially in those outdoor courts. So why? Do you like playing outside or inside?
I don't mind either. They're both fine.
Okay.
Obviously, preferred indoor, but outdoor I can live with. It's fine.
Okay. All right. All right. So now here's his next clip, minute 18 long. Here it is. All right, Wyatt. I'll give a little story behind this one.
This is one of my team elite games. It's from it's from the weekend that we beat the 24K. That's the team I was talking about earlier. About the team like we could never beat, but we beat them. And then I don't know if it already showed. One of these catches was like a walk-off touchdown.
All right, nice throw. Nice throw there. Okay. To those windows. And then obviously we mentioned during the intro that let me bring the intro back up. That you're very accurate and it's best off the rollout, and that's what you guys are seeing right now through the rollout and obviously making those throws.
Yep.
Very accurate. So now there's you in the pocket and that slant, right? Throw it up. Yep, that's a mismatch. There you go. There you go. Simple. Minute 18. All right, Wyatt. So now here's his next clip. Minute 21 seconds. So here it is. All right, give me a little story behind this one.
This is one of my practices at the park. This is with a different trainer, Coach Dom. Just like another workout, like trying to, and I work out with him like once, twice a week. And just another workout, like trying to work on my one drill pull up floater.
All right, just like on the run and stuff, like a handoff.
Yeah.
Sometimes retreat. Obviously, you're going to work there. Smooth pull up game there. Retreat, slow down. Control pace. Good job with the control pace. Give his feet to the center, like pretty much in game situation. You would feed it to the big hands it off. Then obviously you go to work after that. Look at that high pickup. Definitely something you would like to have in your bag. A high pickup or low pickup, depending how the defender defends it. If he attacks high, you go low. You go high, and things like that. All right, Wyatt. So that was you training. Now, here's this next clip, minute 8 seconds long. Here it is. All right, so give me a little story behind this one.
So this is one time me and a couple of my friends were able to get in the gym, just playing some 2v2, and just scoring every time, got hot.
All right. All right. 2-2. Oh, wow. Hit a lot of threes. All right. 2-on-2. Nice screen from the big. Awesome. Nice there. Why my co-host in the chat says something to you. If you would like to read that.
Yeah, I was on fire today. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot of threes in that clip. Definitely a lot of threes in that clip. Yeah, interesting. All right, so now here's his next clip. A minute 14 seconds. Here it is. All right, backstory behind this one.
So this was one of my. It was like a practice, but then after we played some games, like just some pickup at the park, and this was one of my best days of like fun basketball, but absolutely dominating.
Okay, hey, and a very nice move there behind the back. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Coach Tony knows. Back in his day, back in his day, it would always be pick up at the park with his friends. So something you guys are doing now, picking up at the park playing with friends. That's something very very good to watch. Very good to do. Very good to do with friends playing at the park. There's nothing like it. It's a teammate. Call for screen there. All right. Oh, wow. Glass. All right. Off the glass. All right. All right. So here's the next clip, a minute 26 seconds long. Here it is. All right. Wyatt, give me a little story behind this one.
All right. So this is at one of our tournaments, playing against a team called NCBL. Sort of kind of a rival like that we go back and forth with.
Okay, so was it? I don't know, Wyatt. So is this in the U.S. Amateur circuit, a U.S. Amateur tournament?
This was what it was. Yeah, I think it was U.S. Amateur. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And this was just like a tough game for my whole team. So it was like one of the games that like just like kind of sticks out because it was like a more of a tougher game that my team did good in.
And I think in the last clip you got double teamed there, right? You got double teamed.
Yeah, they run an interesting defense.
Okay. All right. Nice kick out there. Nice court awareness. You mentioned that that one of your strengths is court awareness. So
yeah, court awareness, IQ, yeah.
All right, showcasing that there. All right. So now here's his next clip, 59 seconds long. Here it is.
So this is one of my game-winning drives with the clock expiring this game. And then that's some of my receivers. Lennox, he just made that one hand catch. Bryce, B3.
Let's go! Come on, man! Come on, boy! Come on, man! On the black line.
Let's go! Let's go! That's how we handle business. We him. We is him.
All right, so the team was
Also,
hyped
one of
there.
the reasons why 7-on-7's fun. Just like that energy once you win a game.
Yeah, and I definitely like that video where right after you make the throw, it had the time stamp of how much seconds were left, and then obviously you make that game winning throw into a tight window there, you hit it right there, banger, you win the game just like that for your team. All right, so now here's this next clip, the final clip, guys. The final clip. It is 1:34 long. So here it is, guys. 1:34. All right, Wyatt, give me a little story behind this one.
All right, this is another game with Team Elite. So it's like a weekend. This was it was like an Orlando tournament. This was a good tournament for us. Had some good plays.
Oh wow, nice throw there.
We had to make a few comebacks here, yeah.
All right, so a few routes you told me you like to throw is the corner, I think post corner you mentioned, or like a fade, right? And I think I saw one of the fade route. So
Yeah.
so I'm kind of seeing those like that corner fade right there to the corner.
And then just threading the needle through tight windows.
And there you are in the rollout, which we mentioned in the intro that you are best off the rollout. The exact ones that I used in the intro. There you go. That's throw it up. Oof! Wow. Nice catch by that receiver. All right. All right, Wyatt, that is the video portion of the show and tell. That is the video portion of the show and tell. That is a wrap with the video portion. So, very impressive stuff, Wyatt. Very impressive stuff. Obviously, we all know that you're a shooter, and you definitely backed up some of those things that you mentioned as the strengths. Court awareness, passing, definitely shooting. We saw that a lot. And then, obviously, your IQ. Definitely just... All right, so keep on working on those things and just take it to another level as you grow in your next journey with basketball. And then in football, obviously you mentioned best off the rollout. Keep on doing that, best off the rollout, and then very good passes. So keep on doing that. All right, Wyatt.
Yep.
All right, Wyatt. So I have one question to ask you before we start to wrap up this show. So I always ask the guest. All right, so every athlete has a story behind their number. So what is your number and what's that story behind that number?
Not much of not much of a story, but my first season it was like 77 because Luka Doncic. I switched to 55 for Jason Williams, white chocolate, because awesome passer. I love like watching his clips, seeing his clips, and I see him like still grinding in like men's leagues. So that's my number right now, and I don't know what my number's gonna be next year.
Okay, so Luka 77, then you switch to Jason Williams 55. All right, so that's your numbers right there, 77, 55. All right, guys, that is a wrap. Guys. So I forgot to put the ticker on. But here's the ticker, guys. So all right, guys, that is the end of this show. So before we go, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon on YouTube so you get notified of when we go live. Set them to all. all notifications so that you get notified of when we go live and things like that. Also, follow our Instagram at the Be Ready Sports Podcast, where we do sports news, podcast clips, anything related with the podcast will be on the Instagram. We will be active on the Instagram throughout this month of June. Obviously, Stanley Cup Final, NBA Finals, FIFA World Cup coming up next week. We will be active on the Instagram, especially for sports news. And then podcast clips, obviously, we keep doing our thing. We're going to keep the podcast rolling on YouTube and then send out those clips on Instagram. So like, share, subscribe here on YouTube. Hit the bell icon. Also follow our Instagram at the Be Ready Sports Podcast. Follow our Instagram at Be Ready Sports Podcast. All right, Wyatt, that is the end of the show. Stay for the wrap-up. So stay here for the wrap-up. And yeah, so that's that. All right, guys, in 3, 2, 1. To be ready.
Stay ready.
And we out, guys. We'll see you guys in the next episode, guys. All right? See you guys.